shit.
Hightailed it out of there.
Are you crazy? Don't go between them! Go between them! Are you crazy?
Welcome to my home.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's a morning already. I've already started the morning off. Woke up and it's just so hot in here, so I have to have the fan on, and so I hope it's not bothering anybody or creating all kinds of noise because this fan sometimes can sound like a jet engine, which is horrible. And I got a lot of things to talk about today. So good morning, everybody. I'm going to hit you up in just a second. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Obviously, every Saturday morning. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff to go through, and I had some piles of movies that I'm not the biggest fan of, or like a little bit of a mini review, something recent watches, things that I have talked about. But because I already did my February haul video, and a lot of those were blind buys, I didn't feel I should make another video talking about a lot of the same movies. So let's see the first one here. Let's go off the things that I liked, things that I watched recently that I kind of liked. And so this one here, Drive, came up, high recommend from you guys, and also a lot of people couldn't believe that I never saw this movie. But yeah, Drive, big fan, really enjoyed it. It was like almost a solid 2 hours, and it could have been a little bit shorter, but I mean it's super fun. Really enjoyed it. Classic for the times, and I'm not complaining. Like it didn't drag on, but I did happen to look at my watch going, hey, I'm getting kind of hungry, but I want to finish the movie. And I realized, I'm like, damn, this is like a 2 hour movie, pretty solid. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. And one of the things that, just appreciating these older 90s films, I don't remember exactly when this came out, 97. So these older 90s films, there was an explosion. They blew up a building and then they really blew it up. And it's like, that's why I love 90s films. Like all the new stuff, when they blow it up, like you can always tell when it's CGI, and I'm just like, give me that, give me this. So this was fun. Glad I got this one. Thanks, guys. Now these ones here, Open Windows with Elijah Wood, Sasha Grey. This was a blind buy. It was an Amazon recommendation. I liked it. It's a celebrity stalking movie, but it's different. This is a solid Saturday afternoon film, and it does have kind of a twist in there. But this one, Open Windows, it starts out. He was supposed to go on a date. She's like a movie star. He was supposed to go on a date with her. He won a contest, and then he's obsessed with her. He has like a blog and runs this whole internet thing. But then there's like somebody else who's like a mastermind at like internet and hacking and all that. Also is trying to ruin her life, and it just sucks him into the whole thing. And it's an interesting movie, worth a watch. I've seen a couple celebrity stalking movies, and this is probably the better of the bunch. But it's probably for most people a one and done kind of thing, like a rental. But yeah, glad to have this one for the price. If this was like a $20 or $25 movie, I would have been a little disappointed. But picking it up super cheap, had no problem. Then we had these next ones, Humanoids of the Deep, another one I never saw. This was as soon as the 4K came out, I pre-ordered this one. I don't even know if this is even out yet, because Scream Factory sent out the stuff early to everybody. And but I think like if you pre-ordered it through Amazon, maybe you're still waiting on it. I think this one's supposed to come out the 18th. This is a solid movie. Really enjoyed it. But if you already have that old Blu-ray, I don't know how much of an upgrade you're going to get. The Blu-ray they included in here does have the new 4K scan that they did for the 4K master of this. That Blu-ray, I think, only had a 2K HD 1080p scan, which I think will look really good. And then in the very beginning, there's some little bit of dirt on the screen, some fuzz, like the film dirt, like there was like a black spot or something. So overall, like I didn't see any DNR or any craziness like that. It was a solid picture, but I think if you have that old Blu-ray, it's going to be a slight uptick. But this was a fun movie. Really enjoyed it. Schlocky monsters. I don't know if they're rubber monster suits, but there's people running around in monster suits and half naked women, and good one. I like this one. That was fun. Godzilla -1. I don't know if I talked about it because I watched it earlier this month. I love this film. I already watched it before I bought this, so it wasn't a blind buy. But I saw the minus color version, And then this, I was watching it with my daughter, and so to have um, I like to read the subtitles in some of these foreign films, and sometimes I like to enjoy the film like that. And I think that's how it had the better surround sound. So I think the Dolby Atmos was in Japanese, and then you have the English subtitles. So I think there was the lesser audio track for English, the English dub version. So I turned the subtitles off, and then we watched it like this because it was, my daughter's 8. She does read, but like she wasn't going to be able to keep up. She was definitely struggling, and then asking me what stuff said. So I just turned off the subtitles. We watched the entire film without subtitles, and it was kind of like watching a silent film, but it wasn't, because you had all the ambient noise and all the others, screaming and stuff, and you had them speaking in Japanese. But it was an interesting way to watch it because I already saw it before. It kind of sucked me in anyway, and before I knew, I just was checking it out. Like I just popped it in to check it out, and she was asking what everything was saying, and so I just turned off the subtitles, and before I knew it, the movie was over, and I really enjoyed it. So it was an interesting way to watch it. I know that most people won't, but that was fun. And this one came highly recommended by you guys again. And I told the story before. Like I put this one off because, my own stubbornness, but I finally watched it and really enjoyed it. High recommend. But I mean, I think I'm the last person on earth to see this movie. It's Gross Point Blank. Love this one. That was a solid film. Really enjoyed it. So thank you guys for telling me to get it. And then this one, this was a blind buy, but I picked it up because it was like $10. Great cast. I saw the trailer, and I like this movie a lot. Green Book. So it's supposed to be based on that true story. These guys become friends. He's not, he's probably a little racist. You see that in the beginning of the movie, but they become friends for real. And it was his son in real life that wrote this movie and to put this together. So really enjoyed this one. That was a high recommend, but it's a drama period piece. So this is another one that's not for everybody, but I enjoyed it. All right, so let me get to you guys. Yeah, I got more stuff to talk about here, but I want to get to everybody. So we got Robert. Morning, Robert. Morning, brother. Morning. And then we got Thomas with the morning, everyone. I should have known. Morning.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone. Let's see. Got that. And then JJ the Collector. Good morning, brother. Good morning. It's okay. My fan is on too. Yeah, nice. All right, that works then. It works. Let's see. Video Pro. Morning, brother. Good morning. I'm drinking hot chocolate. Nice. Hope that doesn't break protocol. Hey, it doesn't matter, brother. It doesn't matter. I was like, I'll pretend you're drinking coffee. It's okay. Blue Corner. Kind of liked. Did I say that? I liked the movie. I liked the movie. So it's like, maybe I said that, but I liked the movie. Let's see. Rich, good morning, Rich. Coffee in hand, greetings program. Yes, nice. Uh, t- 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 Amazon canceled my Wicked Gold gift set. That sucks. Yeah, it's like it happens all the time. I was like, one of those things like Amazon, you can save a bunch of money, but there are a lot of frustrations. And usually when I talk about those frustrations, I mean, obviously you guys know, but like people definitely are very quick to not believe me. Like it happens all the time. Oh, and speaking of that, so recently I got an Amazon order and my steelbook was crushed and I showed that off. So I got the replacement in. So Dracula here, and I did put it in the protective case because but this one here, Dracula. So I bought this because one, it makes my top 5 favorite films of all time. So I don't mind collecting multiple versions. But pretty much every version I have has some form of this cover. And so I don't know if there's like too many like wild or crazy or different artwork. There's some variations, but the majority of them are this. But this I picked it up mainly because of the Dolby Vision thing. And while I enjoyed it, I think the first disc that has HDR10, I still stand by that. I think it's a solid reference disc. This one here with the Dolby Vision, I think honestly, and I didn't like pop back in, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I watched the other, the older 4K version of Dracula. Pretty sure I watched it a few months ago into last year. And so like just my fresh memory of it, I think like your reds are gonna pop. When the green smoke comes through the window, I think like that pops. But overall, like, if I would have to do like a side by side to look at all the darks and the blacks and like see the differences. I think it's a very subtle upgrade with the Dolby Vision. It's definitely top notch and probably the better of the two. So if you don't have it, grab this one. But honestly, you probably don't need to upgrade unless you're a crazy person like me, because I had to have it. But yeah, that came in solid. Oh, and I like the back. I don't know if I showed off the back. So, we've seen that before as well. But yeah, pretty solid. But then when you open this up, it's plain on the inside. So it's like you're spending extra money on a steelbook. You want, some better art, and then it's just a plain blue, like a baby blue color, like almost whatever the color of the steel was supposed to be. Let's see. Thomas says, "How's the 88 treatments treatment of Drive? I have the MVD Rewind one. It might be the same, but it's a 4K. It was a solid overall film. Like I had never seen the film before, so I was like, I don't have anything really to compare. But overall, it was a solid image. I really enjoyed it. Good picture, good sound. But then, let's see, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. But then like nothing really stood out to me for like the sound. Like it just sounded like a typical 90s recorded track. Like it didn't have any like it didn't feel special for the surround track. Like as I was listening to the Atmos, everything sounded like it was supposed to, sounded fine. It didn't even dawn on me to look if it was Atmos or not. So I was like, it was it was an enjoyable movie, and I'm gonna add it into the rotation. Glad to add it to the rotation. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on how much you love the film. I think it's probably gonna be a solid upgrade, but not huge. I don't think it's probably I don't have the Blu-ray to compare either, but yeah, I'm just assuming. But it's a solid 4K. Paul, morning. Hello, 80s, everybody. First time catching the live. Nice. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Matthew, do you think that they do new scans for the James Bond, or just dump the non HDR transfers to disc, or even use those old scans, give them HDR grade? I'm speaking for pre Daniel Craig. It's tough, man. I was like, sometimes that stuff comes out. I mean, I hope they do. I hope they do new scans and stuff. But like a lot of times, the studios surprise us. They hit us with, brand new stuff, new commentaries, new scans, HDR, Dolby Vision, and then there's times where the like one random one just won't get it or so. So I was like, I don't know. I'm hoping. I haven't read any news on it. I honestly don't have any James Bond films that are not on VHS. So I was like, I love James Bond. I love the older stuff, but I don't own a single Blu-ray, a single 4K. I don't even think I have my DVDs anymore, because I recently, and I've talked before, I had about 500, just a little bit over 500 DVDs. And then I made this video because I was upgrading movies as I was going along. Every single one I was getting the Blu-ray in. Within that short amount of time of me getting that new Blu-ray, finally, we're getting a 4K. So I was like, I just got rid of 40. I made a whole video. I did a whole shopping trip looking for those. And I actually found a couple. I have them in this pile to talk about. But then in that frustration, I just grabbed all the rest of the DVDs. I have less than 100 left. Like I have 60 on the shelf over there that I know I'm keeping. And some of them, I'll get rid of if a 4K comes out, or, finally we get a Blu-ray comes out. But then I have probably 20 movies downstairs that I still have to watch first and decide whether it's, I'm keeping it, period, like it's something I want to upgrade, or I'm just going to get rid of it altogether. So I have less than 100 DVDs left in the house. And so I think I got rid of all my James Bond ones too. So I think I only have James Bond on VHS. Now, if they came out with like a big giant box set, and they've done it before, I don't know if I'm all in, because I don't think I love all the films. So I was like, I haven't been super invested into that, but I will definitely keep an eye out, because there's a couple I'd like to get. Let's see, what do we got? Rich, Godzilla -1 is a must buy. Yes. And I want to get the minus color too. It was unfortunate that version didn't come with it, but it's not a huge deal. But I did enjoy the black and white. Anyone heard anything about Lethal Weapon 4K coming out this year? I've heard about it, but like, there's been no more solid news about that. I was like, I don't know if it was just a straight rumor mill or speculation because of the Lethal Weapon 5 being in production. So, because I know I've heard about it, but I don't think I've seen any solid information on that. Let's see. Michael, morning. French vanilla coffee and 80s made, good combination. Yes, yes, got that. Now, Robert, finally, the regular show, the complete series came to DVD Cartoon Network stuff. Yes, yes, we're getting some of that stuff too. Matthew says they canceled my Bubblegum Crash Blu-ray because it was recalled due to the error on the UK dub was not synced properly. It's pretty bad stumble for a new anime. Um, Miss Robert Woodhead already. Yeah. It is very frustrating. It seems like that's happening a lot with all across the companies. It doesn't seem like anybody's really, you know, better than the next. Everyone, Arrow Video's getting caught with it, tons of people, and there's been a lot of conversation about these discs being put out ahead of the time and they're not good, or there's no quality control and there's something wrong with them. There's errors all over the place, and sometimes an error is whatever. But then in the constant, it just seems like it's happening all the time. Like every time I get excited for a new release, there's a conversation about a bad disc, an error, something not synced right, audio issues, different things. And I know a lot of people don't have the full surround sound. So the audio issues, they come up and that conversation comes up, but then most people don't recognize it or even notice because just using a sound bar, you're probably not going to notice if they switch the rear surrounds, they switch them around or something like that. And then so then maybe we don't get a replacement disc. And so it's just a known error, which I'm pretty sure that's what happened with the planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm sure one of the scenes there's a the speaker switch, and I don't think we've ever gotten a replacement for that. Let's see. JJ says found Bram Stoker's Dracula for $2 on Blu-ray, and it looks amazing. Yeah, the Blu-ray always did look good. Blu-ray always did look good. That's why I was like, I love the 4K. I think the 4K is a reference disc, and I was like, the shelf just under the Freddy Krueger shelf, all those plus this one. So I have let's see, one, two, got about five copies of this now. And I have the DVDs, I have the Super Bit, but I have like this really cool different version of the of Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's hard to see because the glare, it's the one on display there. But then I put it in the smoke clear. There was like Ant-Man. Ant-Man came, the Blu-ray came with like a smoke clear case, and I switched it out and it just looks phenomenal because it came with that original standard ugly blue case and it just didn't fit the aesthetic. So I was like, I switched that out. That's pretty solid. Um, let's see. Blue Corner says MVD and 88 Films worked together to put the 4K out. In the US, MVD themselves only did the Blu-ray version. Oh, so then it'll be the same. Be the same. Or, similar, with the 4K being a slight uptick. So yeah, I honestly would probably keep the Blu-ray. I don't think it jumps up that much in quality unless you really have to have the 88 films. But it wasn't a bad price either. I think it was like $20 on Amazon, in that range. Watched Poltergeist with a horrible insert last week. I thought the transfer was very good and the sound was top notch too. Nice, nice. I love Poltergeist. Poltergeist. All right, let's see. Brent says thoughts on Zavvi UK site saying pre-order before 10th of February to secure yours. This is just for Elm Street 4K box set. Odd that they have posted it. It's not out until until the fall. But I thought it was originally out in the fall, but now I thought somebody told me that it might have been like pushed back to December. So I was like, they want your money up front. There's not a lot of information. I mean, there's some information, but there's no artwork. There's no, there's a lot of time people are asking if it's coming with this and coming with that. And I'm looking and I'm like, all I could find is, and then that there was a blurb about it. And I think I screenshotted it where it was saying it was coming with new artwork in the steelbook. And then when I went to look again, just to verify whatever I was saying to the guy. Um, I couldn't find that, so they might have taken that information down too. But I do have the screenshot. I can pull that up. Yeah, one, I'm not a fan. There's not a lot of information. It's almost a year out. Like, I mean, we're just in the beginning of 2025, and it's being pushed to fourth quarter. At the earliest fourth quarter, and I heard December, and so if we get a December release, it also could get pushed to January. Like it just could. You're paying for something up front and waiting almost a year for it, and there's many hobbies that do it. Like statue collectors pay for their stuff, sometimes a couple years ahead of time. And I was like, that's not where I want to get with movies. That's $260 they're asking for a 4K set that you don't have in hand for like a year. And I also think that there's other versions coming out. I pointed out the France site still has their pre-order up. And that's 165 euros. So I think when you change it to US dollars, I think it's right around like 170 something dollars. And so that's obviously cheaper than the 260. So I'm just going to assume that it might not be the steelbook version. It might be just a standard, Amaray case with some, basic box art, something like that. So if they're kind of giving you the FOMO thing where you gotta secure this now and you gotta pre-order this now and you gotta wait for it, I'm kind of thinking that maybe there's going to be a bunch of other companies putting this out. Roger Moore is my least favorite. Yeah, yeah. I was like, Sean Connery's my favorite. And I was like, and then I grew up in we probably all did, but I grew up in the Pierce Brosnan era. And then rewatching those, I was like, I loved him when I was a kid, but rewatching those, I was like, I'm a huge fan of the Sean Connery ones. So I don't dislike the Pierce Brosnan ones, but I think they're a little bit more cheesy. And I'm a big fan of the Sean Connery era. I hope Lucasfilm and Warner Brothers consider doing THX 1138. Yeah, I have that on DVD. But I was like, I'm surprised we never got a 4K. Though I suppose it'll be CGI cut in 2K. Yep, upscaled rather than the 1977 director's cut, which is what I want. Yeah, yeah. I was like, honestly though, if we did get a 4K, I was like, I don't think I would rush out to get it. I was like, I'd probably like to see it in 4K immediately, but like having it in the collection, like I have it on DVD, and I've probably watched that film in my entire life, probably a total of 3 times. So it's one of those things. And I only have the DVD because I found it like super cheap for like $1 at the thrift store, and it was in mint condition. And this was, a while ago. So it was like, yeah, it's one of those things. I was like, I want it, but do I need it? But I agree with you. I would think that we would get a lot of that AI scrubbing and all that stuff. Thomas says, since Bond was brought up, who is your favorite Bond? I'm telling you, I was like, Sean Connery, clearly my favorite Bond, but I do have that nostalgia love for Pierce Brosnan. Good morning, Movie Den. Jordan, what's up? What's going on? Good morning, brother. Good morning. John, good morning. Morning, 80s. Had myself a Mission Impossible marathon. Nice. Very nice on the OLED with the surround sound. Are you a fan of those? I am. I've not gotten to all of them. I've seen a lot of them, and I saw one a few years ago in IMAX. I don't remember which one I saw, but I have not seen the newest one at all. But I'm a fan. Like the very first one, I think is a solid film, and I think I like 2 and 3. But I only own the first one on HD DVD. That's it. And I was like, that's how I've been revisiting it over these years. And I've only started getting the HD DVD like maybe 2 years now I've had it. So it was like, that's the only way I've had it is that, and watching it in here on the old CRT or this HD DVD here. That's how I've been getting into it. Would I get them all? No. I think I'm like solid happy at, the first three. Paul, I've been watching all the old Coffee and movies. Nice. Right now I'm in episode 8. Nice. Awesome, brother. Awesome. I was like, that's the thing. I was like, I treat it like a TV show. Like, enjoy it. And then before I was like, I know there's a lot of people in here, and a lot of comments I still got to get to. So I was like, I'll get to you, but I want to hit up this too. We got some things to talk about. There's some things I'm excited for, so definitely let me know what you're excited for that's being announced. But these are the ones here that I recently picked up. Now, I talked about before, I got rid of a lot of my DVDs because this is the year of the upgrade. So these are ones that I actually did upgrade and I was able to get. But then this one here, I didn't upgrade. It was actually on my Amazon wish list, but I found it for $4, brand new, sealed at the thrift store. There's that. And then this one, I also found this one, but this was never on my list. I just picked it up for how cheap it was, and I never saw it. But I don't think it was a good movie. But I did find Fallen. So this was a DVD that I needed to upgrade. I absolutely love this film. I think everybody should watch this one. This is probably next to Deja Vu. Like those are probably my top two. Well, now I say that. Now the bank heist movie. Um, Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. All right, so this probably is up there high on my list for Denzel Washington films. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I probably have like a solid 10 that are like, they're probably all tied. But this one here, really good film. If you've never seen it, there's a demon, and so it's like very similar to Idle Hands, but serious instead of funny. But there's a demon that's lived for thousands of years, and if he touches you, he can enter your body, and then he kills people, and then he's also stalking Denzel Washington, who's a cop, and they think that they kill him because they kill the guy, but then the demon can just go into a different body. And yeah, this was a good film. Really enjoyed this one, and it's one I don't think it's talked about a lot, but I had it on DVD, finally upgraded, and the Blu-ray is amazing. And it's like that's one of the like some of the older Blu-rays you can usually say, all right, I could watch a 4K. This would look really good in 4K, but that one, I think overall, amazing picture for a Blu-ray. Also picked up Stealing Harvard. Now this one here, I had it on DVD. Getting the Blu-ray on this, I think it was, it's a small upgrade, I guess, but overall, like, I don't think it was a huge upgrade. I don't think the picture quality on here was amazing. It's nice to have the Blu-ray, and I like the movie. It's just a off comedy. If you've never seen this one, you have let's see, you got Dennis Farina, Tom Green, but Jason Lee here. Jason Lee promises his niece, or I think it's his niece, that one day when she gets older, he'll send her to Harvard. But then at the same time, he's trying to marry this girl, whatever her name is, Megan. Oh, no, it's not Megan Mullally. That's her. So he's trying to marry this blonde. I forget her name. And they're trying to buy a house and all that stuff. Her dad is Dennis Farina, which is hilarious. And Dennis Farina hates him. And it's just an overall funny movie. They try to steal the money to get the money for the house and the money to send his niece to Harvard. But this is probably like a one-off Saturday afternoon. This was a rental back in the early 2000s that I absolutely loved. And then I found the DVD a few years ago. So this is finally an upgrade, and I enjoy it. But again, it's like one of those, maybe it's not for everybody kind of film. And then this one is another upgrade. I had this on DVD. It's called Carbon Copy. You got George Segal, Susan St. James, and Denzel Washington again. So this one here, Denzel Washington is George Segal's son. And it's a comedy, but then it definitely has that drama aspect to it. So there's a little bit of a drama thing. So the dramedy conversation, but not a bad film. Really enjoy this one. And he is his son, so I don't think you don't think he's conning him, but you kind of get that feeling like through the whole movie that he's conning him, but then he's doing it because I don't want to spoil it, but he's doing it for a reason, and he's just kind of putting him a little bit through the ringer. Really enjoy this one though. So that was a good find, and that was an eBay purchase. So it came up for auction, I bid on it, and I won it. But then this one here was on my wish list. I saw the movie, and then it ended up being like a lot cheaper, $4, brand new, sealed at the thrift store. So 50 First Dates, glad to have this now. And again, I think this is probably one of the more safe rom-coms I could watch with my kid, and because she's been getting into these a lot more. So glad to have that. And then this one I never saw. So this one's a huge blind buy, but I also feel that I'm not going to like the film. But for trying it out for $2, it's like a rental, and it's Interns. And it came with a slip, but it's all like ripped up and damaged. I know some people care about this stuff, but you can find this stuff used, and a lot of times you can find it in really good condition. So I don't know if you guys saw this one, but huge blind buy for me because of this one. And there's another one that came out around that time when I was in the Navy, and I missed a lot of films back then. We got that. And then let's see, hit this up here. Michael says, I've got the Bond Blu-ray set when it was released and was fortunate to get the movie poster book with it. Nice. They've released that Bond set a ton of times. And it always like, It's, Bond seems to be like this never-ending franchise, and just there's always a new Bond, always a new Bond era, and they put this whole box set out. I could never bring myself to get them because, like I said, I don't love all the Bond films, but then at the same time, it's why I stayed off like the Saw box set. Like I don't love all the films, and I recently just got rid of Spiral, and then there's a new one coming out. I was like, I would like a box set, but I was like, I kind of don't think I need all the films. And the Bond one, there's no way I would get into all of them. But years ago, there was this DVD box set, and it had like I think they sold the whole thing in a box set, but it had the different eras of Bond, where it had like 4 or 5 films in one box. And I've seen those individually at thrift stores before, and so I was like, that would be like where I would be in if they did like a Bond era. So they had the James Moore, or the Roger Moore Bond era. They had the Sean Connery ones, and they did box sets for those. That's where I'd be in. But always happy to get the VHS. I think the cover art on a lot of the early ones. Now there was a time period in those VHS tapes where the Bond ones had boring art, but all the early ones, phenomenal, top notch art. Let's see. It says, "I hope no Star Wars is coming anytime soon." You're right. I'd pay quite a bit for the original in 4K uh, in an official release. Be great to retire the 4K 77. Yeah, I've got that. I miss quality Star Wars releases we had on Laserdisc. Yeah, I was like, there was something about it, and then just going through all the different Star Wars releases over the years, some of the artwork was top notch. The different sets, there's been so many different versions. I was eyeing this UK VHS set. I was like, the one they didn't do these cardboard sleeves for their box sets. Every single one of these I don't have any close by, but they were all like really nice clamshells, the stuff we would see at rental stores. And it's just beautiful artwork, beautiful like package design. And so I was like, yeah, that Star Wars was all over the place. It was loved all over the world, and it was top notch. And I was like, now, like even the releases are very lackluster. JJ says from Russia with love, such an amazing memories with that one. Yes, yes. And I was like, those opening scenes, those the whole music aspect of it just always sucked me in. I remember being like 8 or 9, and just I couldn't get enough. Couldn't get enough. Roger Moore all day. The Spy Who Loved Me for the win. Nice, nice. Ben, morning. Picked up Wizard of Oz in 4K yesterday. Nice. I'm hoping it looks mind blowing with the colors, etc. What is your opinion on it? Do I have that one? I don't think I have that one. I think we're just stuck on that. Let's see. Because I know we picked up a Wizard of Oz last year, and I haven't got to watch it because I picked it up, and my daughter's been in this mood. Yeah, I only have the Blu-ray. So I have the Blu-ray. So that's one I know I wanted to pick up, but my daughter's been in this mood lately where she used to love everything, and she's a movie person, but she's also going to like the preteen stage, so she's copping a big attitude, and it's she's just in a mood. She doesn't like it. It's screw everything with a capital F. And yeah, she's one of those, I know the last time I went to go watch that, she was mad. She went to her room, found the VHS tape because she has her own VHS collection, and she put it in the Goodwill bag because she just wasn't having it. She wasn't having it. So yeah, that was one we skipped. There was a couple other like kids or more family 4K movies that I wanted to get that she just was just arms crossed, pissed off, just not having it. Decided randomly after all these years of loving the films, like decided she didn't like the film anymore, or maybe it was she was too old for that film. So like I wanted to pick up Nightmare on Elm Street, or not Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas. I want to pick that up on 4K. She was not having it. So yeah, Wizard of Oz was in there too. So we didn't get that one, but I would like to. I'd like to. Hosmic Pizza. Nice. Nice. I love that name. Let's see. And Mission Impossible 3 is such an underrated banger. Yeah. Best thing J.J. Abrams ever did. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Best villain in the franchise. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big fan. Big fan. Yeah, I don't have that one, but I need to get it. I need to get it. I probably should check it out. I was like, I only have the first one. Let's see. I did pick up some recent HD DVDs. Yeah, I only have the first one HDB. That's it. Let's see, Amazon. While we're right here. Oh, and the Friends 4K box set. If anybody's interested, the UK version just went on sale to like $134. So it's actually cheaper than the American version on at regular US Amazon. You don't have to import it or anything. So it was free shipping, $134, $10 cheaper than the American version. And I think when that came out in December, it was 199 or in that price range. So that's something that I really want. Um, but then Mission Impossible 3. Let's see. Oh yeah, $20 on sale right now. Yeah, I'll throw that in the cart. I'll get it. Not today, but I'll get it. All right, yeah, thanks. I was like, even though I talked about it earlier, I probably wasn't going to. Now it's in the card. I'll get it eventually. Robert says, "Fallen on 4K, brother." Yes, I just got that. I think it's a solid. I would say, like, if I were to nitpick it and like go back and like really just like give it the one over, I would probably say it's a reference Blu-ray. It was looking pretty solid, so I would still upgrade and get the 4K on that one. I love that film. Uh, What do I want? I want King Kong 33 on 4K, Errol Flynn. Oh, nice. I got the 33 King Kong, like the canvas poster, like right here on the wall. Like it's monkeys, gorillas, my absolute favorite. King Kong. I think the creature from the Black Lagoon is my all-time favorite. Oh, and speaking of that, we got the mugs in or the pint glasses in. So it was a perfect segue, and it was not on purpose. But the Saturday afternoon pint glasses we got in the store, I had these up before, but I finally got my sample in, and pretty solid. Love the creature. So the creature is my all-time favorite monster. But like King Kong, I have loved King Kong since I was a little boy, and I've got King Kong toys like on the floor over here, and big fan, huge fan. So yeah, I would get that on 4K too. Errol Flynn, and so that's the one. The Errol Flynn Robin Hood is one that I love Robin Hood. I love the story, but I have always just kind of missed that one, and so I want to get it. But I'm at this point now. I am purposely waiting for a 4K. And Captain Blood on Blu-ray from Warner Archive. Superman Returns in 4K. Nice. Now, out of all those, I was like, I would probably agree with you on all of them. Superman Returns on 4K. I have it in the Blu-ray box set there, but I just don't know if I love that film. We just revisited it, and it wasn't a fun experience. Like I was saying earlier, how my daughter's just kind of in a bad attitude about movies lately, and I think it's like that preteen stage where she thinks she knows everything. And the entire experience. So one, I'm not sure if I ever loved the film as much as I love the other one. So it was always in there, but I would give it a rewatch every now and again. But the last time I rewatched it was literally maybe 2 weeks ago, and the entire experience was horrible. I spent the entire time listening to an 8-year-old tell me how boring and crappy this was, and for the whole length of the film. And so that's my most recent experience of watching it. So it's like I don't know if I would definitely get that one on day one at all. Um, Fallen is so good. Azrael versus Denzel. Yes. Or Azazel. Azazel versus Denzel. Yes. Ben. Oh, morning, brother. Morning. Love the internship. Nice. All right. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just saying, like, it always passed me by looking at it in the store. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really into this, but yeah, I'll check it out. I was like, you can't go wrong. I like those guys. Vince Vaughn is great. The 8K scan of Wizard of Oz is ridiculously good on 4K. I've never seen it. Oh, let's see. Never seen it on IB Tech. Must be less than 35 millimeter film. Generations of television prints, VHS, Laserdisc, and DVD. Nice, nice. Yeah. So I was like, all right, that's something that I'll definitely add sooner than later. It's something that was always on my radar. I'd never pulled the trigger. Kid was just in a bad mood that day. I think like it was one of those things like it's like maybe it was like a Best Buy. I know for a fact that we were in the Best Buy. She was basically throwing like a toddler temper tantrum um, over Nightmare Before Christmas, like arms crossed, stamping the foot, saying that I couldn't get it, and she was in charge. She was the boss that day, and I was just like, oh, you're not, and we're not having this conversation. So we ended up leaving, not buying anything, because there was a movie that she wanted, and she was deciding that I couldn't have a movie I wanted, so we just left with nothing. And I think that was a very similar situation with Wizard of Oz. I think like it was still available at the Best Buy, maybe. But either way, I just remember having the conversation. She was in a bad mood. Sean, more brother. I have the 50th anniversary Blu-ray diamond set or Blu-ray bond set. Got burned out halfway through them. There's just so many. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like if I bought that comprehensive box set with all the films, even love them or hate them, just like the MCU, I would feel obligated to get through them, and then it would be that burnout thing. So I was like, for me, Bond, I treat it like an event. I treat it like I always treated Star Wars, where like I make a big deal about it. I get the popcorn out, like I plan to watch it. It's not one that I just go to the shelf and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch Bond today. No, 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 no. I plan to watch it. Like I'll even know ahead of time, like a week or so. I'm like, oh, I feel like I want to watch a Bond film, and then we'll plan it for the weekend, and then that day is like 100% going to the store, getting sodas, snacks, popcorn, like everything we can do. We make the popcorn at home, and then just plan for it. And for me, yeah, that's where I'm at with Bond. That would be a regrettable purchase if I got the big box set, honestly. What's up, Michael? What's up? Have you seen The Substance? Yes, I have. I don't think I'm in a rush to watch it again, but I did pre-order the 4K, and then I was like, I canceled it. I saw it at the Walmart. I had it in hand. It was like 24 bucks, and I was tempted to get it. I was like, I thought it was a really good price, but then I was like, how everyone's talking about this film and how it won awards and like everyone's super excited about this film. I feel that we're going to get a nice big chunky edition of this movie on Second Sight or like some other label's going to pick this up and give it like a really nice edition. And so that's where I'm in at it. I want that. And then how I switch out the cases. And I don't have it up here. I did have it up here for this conversation, but then I wasn't having it today. Is Hulk? I put this like green clear. It's kind of clear green case in my Hulk Blu-ray. That same green case would have been amazing in The Substance. It would have been amazing in any Reanimator thing, like just to tie in the movie. And then Brian over at Last Movie Standing, he put the green case in his Substance, and then sent me a picture. And because I've been talking about it, so I think that would be really awesome if somebody did that. Oh, and by the way, if anybody has not seen this movie, Dark City, I think it's a phenomenal movie. Definitely an artsy film and not for everybody. But the 4K is coming out. But on the rewatch of this Blu-ray, it's another one. This is a reference quality Blu-ray. This was top notch. It looked amazing. I think the 4K will look incredible and has the potential to look really sharp, but I think it's going to be a small slight uptick. So if you already have the Blu-ray and you don't love the film, maybe hold off on that Blu-ray and not get or hold off on the 4K. But on the rewatch, I'm probably going to get the 4K, but I'm going to wait. I don't need it day one. Absolutely love this film though, and I think that the Blu-ray was top notch. Rugrats DVD, nice. Oh, nice. April Fool's 4K. That's awesome. Yeah, that one I'm hoping to pick up next month. I'm over budget now. I did some yeah, I've talked about it before, but January's purchases, all those pre-orders got pushed to the end of February, and so then I basically spent my February budget in January, and so then I was at my budget, and I got a few titles. I already did my haul video, but then I got a little FOMO going on, and I went over budget a little bit. So I'm definitely like putting the kibosh on any purchases until next month. I gotta hold off on it. But I grabbed a bunch of out of print titles, and so I overpaid. But it was the FOMO thing. There's two Fox titles and a Columbia, like so a Sony one, that just they were the lowest I had seen in a while, but still ridiculous. And I kind of hated myself for buying them. But they're also movies that I just don't see them coming to 4K or another Blu-ray release anytime soon. The two Fox titles specifically not. One of them will be here today, and that one wasn't bad because it was a recently out of print one, so that was like 22 bucks, and it was still sealed. So I'm not really hating myself for that one, but the other ones, oh man, I kind of hate myself. But I'm getting them finally, and one of them is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I had to pull the trigger. It was the lowest I'd seen it in probably the past year. And so normally I see the price around $100, and I picked it up. It was about 60 bucks, and I was just like, that's coming. I'm not. I'll surprise you guys when I get it, but so I'll make a whole video on how I made a stupid purchase. Yeah, so I did that, and so I'm over budget now, because I got three pretty solid out of print titles. But yeah, April Fool's 4K, that's one I really want. It's been a while since I've revisited, but a real fun film. Love the substance. Nice. Adolfo Rivera, what's up, brother? I want Leatherface in 4K via Warner Archive. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I don't know, like they haven't really been putting out any like that Warner Archive. It's just I love it. I love the Warner Archive stuff. But in my collection, and I probably have like a good solid, 25 to 30 Warner Archives. Like I've never even counted them. Like I've got a good section of them. But even the ones I like, and I have an eclectic taste in films, but like there's no really comprehensive like thing. Like if you're buying Vinegar Syndrome stuff, you know what you're getting. You're buying Criterion stuff. For the most part, you kind of know what you're getting. Like Warner Archive, like you can get King Kong 33, but then you get Joe's Apartment. So it's just like you get some like really solid classics. Like there's that something Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland. Like you can get that film. But then there's what was it? Carney was put out on Warner Archive on DVD, and I was like, just the wild opposite ends of the spectrum, like those films. Like, I just when I first heard of Warner Archive, I always assumed it was just going to be their like super back catalog, like 40s and 50s and like 60s movies, and like keep it kind of there, like the archive stuff. No, the Death to Smoochie had a Warner Archive DVD. Now I know Shout Factory put out the Blu-ray, but the original DVD was a Warner Archive. And I was like, Death to Smoochie is a super fun film, but like it's one that I think belongs on Shout Select. I don't think it belongs on the Warner Archive, but it's one of those things. I love them. I love them, but I just think they're all over the place. Dolpho says, just watch Tenet 4K 4 to 5. I liked it. Okay. All right. I was like, I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. It's like, how I feel about Nolan. I was like, I like his films. They're just not rewatchable. But I was like, I'll get there. I'll get there reluctantly. Tony, morning. See, Howard the Duck has its own shelf in your collection. Is that a permanent, or do you swap out other films occasionally? That one's pretty much permanent. Some of the display ones are just in my top 5 favorite films. Like this whole shelf here, everything down the side, those are my top 5 favorite fantasy films. So the ones that are front facing, they make a top favorite. So I do switch out the shelf sometimes depending on room. Like the Goonies shelf wasn't always the Goonies shelf, but Howard the Duck is. And I just did a video yesterday about this, and so this one's not up there because I have it in here. So this was a whole project I did where I made this shadow box, and I showed you how to do it, and I used the materials. And so this one's also always up there, but Howard the Duck probably will always have a permanent shelf. And I am looking for more Howard the Duck films. There's a Japanese VHS that I'm dying to get, but the shipping is a little nuts. Like I can find it for like a couple dollars, but I think like all in all, like I would spend like maybe $3 or $4 on the VHS, but then to get it from Japan, now I'm at like 60 bucks for a VHS. That even though it'll work because Japanese VHS will work in a VCR, American VCR players, but yeah, that's like 60 bucks for a VHS that I don't need. It's kind of a hard pull, but yeah, I like that one. Yeah, big fan. I love Howard the Duck. See, if you love Leon, Rainy Dog 97 from Takashi Mike is the Japanese version of that. Nice. Hitman with a Kid. I will definitely check that out. But before forget. I got to write that down. Let's see. I will forget. I'm horrible. So much going on. I will definitely forget. Let's see. What is that called? That's called Rainy Dog. Rainy Dog. Okay. Definitely check that out. Oh, and so that reminded me. So then these films here, these are recent watches too. Well, this is what I'm watching today. So I'm watching 13 Ghosts. I haven't seen it in forever. I just picked up the VHS. I don't have this on Blu-ray, but I love this film. And I think it's another one that it was just always on TV. And so it's why I never owned it. And we got rid of cable at 2016. So I haven't had it since then. But I have the original on Blu-ray that I got from Indicator Films. It's the old black and white version of this movie. It was fun. I actually love that story. So I love this one. This is the first one I saw, but I do like that original version. I like that story a lot. So this is one that I'll be watching today. And I still got to get that. I got to get that Blu-ray, but for the dollar that this was, it was worth the pickup. And then I'm watching Newton Boys just came in. So I tried to watch this not too long ago, but then I didn't get through it and I got distracted. So I'm going to rewatch this one. Love this film. If you have never seen this one, it's one of my favorites. It's a true story about bank robbers. They're all brothers, and then eventually they rob in a train. Super fun movie. But then I'm watching this one right here, The Great Race. It's a Warner Archive. This is one of my all-time favorites. This one came out. I don't know. This other version here is in 45, so this is probably in that same range. We got Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Natalie Wood. So maybe this is probably in the 60s. This is probably a little older. But yeah, this is a great film. Really enjoy this. It's a little bit long, but it's probably one of my favorite films. If you've ever seen like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, it has that kind of vibe, but this entire thing is they're doing this race of cars across the country. I mean, across the world. So they're starting, I forget where they're starting, and they got to end up in Paris. And so they're driving all over the place. And it's just goofy comedy. The opening scene, Jack Lemmon plays a perfect villain type character in this film, and it's cartoony. So like he's got this. He's in this like airship that he created to then try to stop Tony Curtis, who at the time was like the best stunt man. And he's trying to stop him, but then everything like backfires, like the Coyote and the Roadrunner on the Bugs Bunny shows. Like that's kind of how it started out. So this is one of my favorites, but it's a long one. I don't know the runtime on this. Probably says, oh yeah, this one came out in 1965, but I don't see the runtime. This is 160 minutes. So it's a long film, but that's what I'm watching. And then I might watch this one too. Those Daring Young Men and the Jaunty Jalopies. So this is another one starring Tony Curtis. This one did come out in 45, but it's not as good as the other one. I like the other one a lot more, but this is a very similar film. They're doing a car race. And so they have these like older cars, and this was back before, cars were as popular as they are today. I mean, they still had them, but not everybody had cars. Just like not everybody had TVs kind of thing. And so like, cars were a very big fascination back in the 40s, I think. At least that's what my grandfather said. So we got that. Oh, and then so yeah, that's what reminded me. So this one here, this is the pile of the movies that I did not like, but I did like this one. This one here, Why Me? Heist film, great Saturday afternoon film, and I picked it up on VHS because I think this is all there is. I don't think there's ever been a DVD, but either way, I found this, and yeah, you got Christopher Lloyd, Christopher Lambert. Heist film. They find this ring. It's like a long lost ring worth billions of dollars at the time or something, a crazy amount of money where everybody's trying to get in them. The police, the mob, other criminals, everyone's trying to get it. They steal it by accident, and then they realize what they have, but everyone's then looking for them, and they also want to kill them for this. And it's a comedy, but it's like it has this off-color humor that just works. So there's this one scene here, and I forget her character's name, but this woman's trying to get the ring, and so she keeps threatening Christopher Lambert to give her the ring, or she's going to kill her own family. And so, and she's being serious. And there's a time where she blows up a car, and she goes, "That was my brother, and he thought he was going to Disney World." And so it's off-color funny. I like it, and it's definitely something I haven't seen something like that in a long time, but a perfect Saturday afternoon film. So that was a watch last night. I'm watching those. But these films, I didn't necessarily hate them, but I didn't love them, and I can't recommend them. So No Strings Attached. I watched this one. I love Natalie Portman. I love her there. Like, wearing the shirt with the legs. Big fan. But I think it's not a bad film, but I really liked the Friends with Benefits movie that I just watched with Mila Kunis. It's the same kind of story, but that one had a whole lot of levels of fun. Where this, even though there was some funny moments, it was definitely like a more serious kind of feel to it. And so it was like it didn't have as much fun as the other one, and it definitely had like a more of a drama feel. So it's fine. I'm not getting rid of it. I don't hate the film, but I didn't love it. So I won't. I can't highly recommend it. This movie I hate. So Deuce Bigelow, I had it on VHS. I found the DVD. It only ever had a DVD, never a Blu-ray, and I don't think there was a Blu-ray in any other country either. But the sequel, I never saw it. I found this on DVD as well. So the European Gigolo, I hate this movie. The other one I think is fine, and I don't need to get a Blu-ray day one like on the first one. I think it's fine. I just finally upgraded my VHS, but this movie I absolutely hate it. So this one is leaving the collection. I can't deal with it, but I picked it up for $1 or two. Not a bad deal. Now this one, I don't hate it, but it's a wild ride. I don't recommend it, and it's all over the place. But it's something that it had so much potential, and it's dog eat dog. You have Nicolas Cage, Willem Dafoe. I'm not getting rid of it, but I don't love it either. Like I'm not going to revisit this anytime soon, and I think out of like morbid, curiosity, I'm going to revisit it at some point. But it's something that, the tagline here said, or the Guardian said it was nasty, tasty crime thriller built on black comic book chaos. Yeah, that right there probably sums up this entire movie. But it's all over the place. Like I feel that the director and the writers, they all had their own vision and nobody talked to each other, and that's how we got this film. So I was hoping for an underrated gem. It's not. But this one is another one. I thought it was going to be really good, but then it came out again my Navy time, and so I missed it. I knew about it. I found it for cheap. So this was like $1 or two at the thrift store, and it's The Circle with Emma Watson. Now, for years, my wife has said that Emma Watson's a bad actress. I've never seen any movie that she's in other than the Harry Potter films. So for years, I was like, I don't see what you're talking about. She's like a kid actress. Like they're all kids. Like she's fine. I watched this and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it. So overall, I don't hate this film either, but I think I'm keeping it because it sparks this whole conversation of like, these big tech companies and surveilling and monitoring and cameras and like you see all that stuff in this film where like these tech companies are kind of controlling people's lives and creating chaos, and it doesn't seem like it's for the better. Now this movie makes Tom Hanks' character, who's supposed to be like this like tech guy like Steve Jobs or maybe a Bill Gates kind of figure running this like place that's called The Circle, just like it would be like Google. And so at the end, like he's, they find out he's kind of a bad guy. He's kind of not, on the up and up. And so they kind of spill all the secrets. But the entire time in the movie, it's him who's trying to get all the secrets. And like there's one scene where they get some politician to have all of her emails, all of her conversations, like everything public knowledge. And so like there's no way that there could be any corrupt politicians while he's himself being corrupt. So it's worth the conversation, but the movie itself, I think it kind of sucks. So I don't love that one. So those are recent watches I wasn't into. Can't recommend those. But this one, like I said, I don't hate it, but it's just, I think I was going in thinking I was going to get a real good comedy like I got with the other one. So I don't hate this one, but it's not what I expected. The other ones I'm not into. Got that one. Love how Demi is on Blu-ray and the other chick is on the 4K. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I didn't know about that, but that's funny. I do want Nightmare Before Christmas, Batman '89 Returns, and both Beetlejuice movies. I might even get Mars Attacks. I don't have any Tim Burton on 4K yet. So Mars Attacks, I just picked up that Blu-ray not too long ago. I only had the VHS for years. I love that film. I think that's great. I have the steel books of the Batman '89 Batman Returns. I got that steel books box, so I love that one. So I do have to get Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't know if there's going to be a huge upgrade on it. I think my Blu-ray still is fine, but it's another one I've had multiple copies. Like I pretty much had it on every format, and now I just need to get that 4K. But the Beetlejuice, I love the first Beetlejuice. The second one, I don't hate it, but and I love Jenna Ortega. I watch anything she's in, but yeah, it's like I don't hate it, but I just wasn't super into it. John says, 80s, just curious. Panasonic versus Sony. I have both. Let's see, versus the 800 M2, which I own to match my TV. Are there differences? Only subjective. Please don't convince me I need to upgrade. Well, that's the thing is, so like I'm not. I'm really not. I have both, and I have both hooked up to my Sony, and I use both. But I was like, my Panasonic is also it's been modified to be my region free player. And so I was like, I paid a little bit more for it than I should have. But the there's a lot of things about the Panasonic that I like, and the fact that it has the automatic Dolby Vision. So like I went into my settings in the very beginning and I turned Dolby Vision on, and then so it automatically, no matter what film I put in, now it does like try to, if a disc has HDR and Dolby Vision, it always treats Dolby Vision first. It takes that and plays that version first. With my Sony, every movie, no matter what it is, I have to go into the settings and then change. I have to turn off the Bravia mode, and I have to turn off the HDR, and then I have to turn on Dolby Vision if I want to experience a Dolby Vision movie on the Sony. So that right there for me is like was the biggest reason I wanted the Panasonic. But then also I'm a sound guy, so the Panasonic has the better DACs and it has like the outputs for the 5.1 for the surround sound. So yeah, I got a single wire for each speaker. The 5.1, there's like a subwoofer wire that goes from the DV or from the player to this receiver, a center channel wire that goes in, and the front and right and left, and the surround wires, they all have a separate wire to give you a better sound. And like that, most people are probably not even going to notice. Most people are just going to hook it up through the HDMI and just call it a day. But I was like, I bought it for the sound, and then it's built like a tank, so it's like it just kind of, I liked it better. I was like, I'm spending that kind of money. The thing's built rock solid. I think it weighs like 30 or 40 pounds. Like it's like a stupid thing. But no, I don't think you need it. But for me, 100%, it was mostly the fact that now I don't have to go in and switch. But when I have it set on Bravia and I have just like a regular, so that would just be HDR movies, and I just have a regular HDR. I don't have one next to me. Regular HDR 4K, and I pop it in. It's a great experience all around. No problem. Really enjoy what I'm getting, but it's just that Dolby Vision. I just use my Panasonic, and if it's a region locked movie, I use my Panasonic. Absolutely love Dark City. When does that 4K drop? Soon. It's like, let's see. Let's pull this up anyway. We haven't even talked about any of the new stuff coming, but Hamilton Book is not really having a sale, but they got some great prices on some stuff, and Indicator is also having a sale. Just to note. So I was like, that came up, but let's see. Pull up. Let's see. What was this? Dark City. It might have just been a soft announce because it's not coming up right now. Yeah, let's see. Dark. Because I saw artwork on it. I've talked about it before. Yeah. Not sure, but I thought it was sometime this year because I knew I was rewatching this soon just to see if it was going to be day one for me. So this is something that I probably saw Dawn of the Discs probably posted about it. I'm assuming maybe a Kino release. I don't remember now, but it was definitely something that was kind of in the rumor mill that it was coming with some artwork, and it uses it didn't have this artwork. It uses the other artwork. See, there's that. All right, so we got that. Let's see, Strange Days 4K without AI needs to happen in the US. We haven't even a Blu-ray as far as I know. Yeah, I was like, that's one that comes up all the time now. I don't even think I have that one on VHS. I might have a VHS of that, But that's one that one, The Beach, and there's one movie that I know I wouldn't upgrade. And it's right here. So this movie, I don't hate this movie at all, but I've had it on VHS all these years. I just rewatched it again because this movie comes up probably more than any of the other ones in the comments where people are like, this movie needs to happen. And it also has, there's like a European release somewhere. So there is a European Blu-ray of this, but we just never got one. And it's the 13th Warrior. Now I like the film, but I was like, I don't know. I love Braveheart, and I was like, I have upgraded that along the way and I've enjoyed it. This one, I just have it on VHS and I think I'm fine with that. Now, if a Blu-ray came out or a 4K came out and it was on a sale price, I'd probably upgrade. But for some reason, this movie, like I said, I don't hate it at all, but I don't feel the urge to upgrade it. And the fact that I just watched it, like I don't know, I might watch this again in like 3 years. Like that's kind of where I'm at. But like Braveheart, that's a yearly watch for me. So I was like, and I mean, I know they're not the same movie, but it gives you the kind of the same vibe. They were put out similar times. But yeah, I was like, it's a great movie. It's just, yeah, it's I think I'm happy with my VHS, but like that, those ones come up all the time. Strange Days is probably like a close second to 13th Warrior. So that's one, and that's one I would probably grab 100%. Sean says, I've been buying some 4K Christmas movies over the past week. I found some great prices on eBay. Never buy during the peak holiday season. Oh no, that's a pro tip. Don't buy during the peak holiday season. Either buy before or after. And if you're going to buy used, always like right before the holiday happens. We're talking Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day is perfect if you're trying to pick up rom-coms. Like the whole month before, because people break out their decorations and these types of movies, they pack them away with their decorations. And so when they break out the decorations the following year, a lot of times I'm finding like tons of like that season's movie, like just overloaded at the used bookstores, the thrift stores, like always find that stuff. And you can find some great deals. So yeah, eBay is a great place. But yeah, if you're looking for any holiday films, buy them in the off season. You'll save a ton of money. Hey, what's up, brother? Yo, 80s. Nice, nice. Zade Comics. This is another comic book dude putting out great stuff. What's up, brother? Matthew. I would buy Die Hard 2 and Die Hard with Vengeance. Terminator 3, if they were in 4K, it doesn't have to be my favorite to appreciate an upgrade. Or how about Alien 3? Yeah, I was like, I don't, I can appreciate the upgrade, but I was like, it just depends on like the, price point. So like if it's coming out brand new at like the 25 or 30 or the higher price point, I'll just wait on it. It's fine. But like Terminator 3, I did not own in the collection until yesterday. So I was like, we were there. It had been at my used bookstore I've seen it there for a couple months. And my daughter just picked it up yesterday, handed it to me and said, we don't have this and we need it because we watched both Terminators recently. And I was like, the one scene at the end, I skipped it. I was like, when she's making John Connor there, I skipped that. And so she's like, hey, I was like, no, you're not watching that part, because she's 8. And so she's been, just very recently introduced to the Terminator films. And so that's Terminator 3, which is like, I don't hate that film at all, but I've just never owned it. And I've never had that like itch to rewatch it recently. And she just handed it to me. So we have it now because I was like, it was very, very cheap. And I'm glad to have it. But yeah, I was like, I can appreciate most films, especially if there's an upgrade. But for me, it's also the price point. I get great enjoyment of watching some of the older films on the CRT TV. If I didn't have this, then I would probably be more all into, getting the better picture on my TV downstairs. Let's see. Video Pro. Today's watch for me is Videodrome. Nice. I know, shocking. I have the Criterion Collection 4K and I haven't opened it yet. I hope it's a good transfer. Yeah, I was like, I don't have that one at all. So I think I might have Strange Days on VHS, but I know I don't have Videodrome. Rich, thank you for the great race recommendation. Nice. I've never heard of it. Huge Jack Lemmon fan. Sounds similar to the Mad. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think so. I like Mad, and I was like, it's a lot of Mads. I always mess up. So I like that movie, Mad, 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 Mad World. I love that movie, but I was like, I love the great. I revisit the Great Race more, and I was like, it's just funny. It's funny, and I love Jack Lemmon. And I was like, I've said it before. I think he's a top notch actor. One of those ones that everybody knows, especially that are our age, like grew up, they know Jack Lemmon, even if you haven't seen all his films. But I think he's just a really underappreciated actor. And for me, it was his role in, I watched a lot of them growing up, but it was his role in Glengarry Glen Ross. And one of my all-time favorites. I love that film. My whole entire life, except for my 6 years in the Navy, I was in retail. So I was in sales in some kind of format. So it was like I really gravitated to Glengarry Glen Ross. And so I love that. But like his phone conversation, his phone acting on that movie, it just sucked me in. And I was like, he is a top-notch actor. And then I started noticing like any other film that he's in where he's on the phone, like clearly, he's not talking to anybody. So he's acting by himself. He's doing it by himself. And just that famous story where Ian McKellen had a problem where he had to do all the acting on Lord of the Rings by himself, and he was kind of losing his mind a little bit. And I was like, just that simplicity of like being able to just spout off the whatever he's rambling. And I was like, maybe it was scripted, maybe it wasn't, but he sells it. And so I was like, Jack Lemmon, I think is probably easily my top 10 favorite actors of all time. But I was like, when I look at his filmography, I love a lot of his films, but like some of his filmography don't make my top 25. So it's just I love him as an actor, and I love a lot of his films. I pretty much, and I'm trying to collect every single one of them. But yeah, you're gonna enjoy that one, I think. JJ says, "Dog Eat Dog is so crazy weird, bad acting in some areas. Yeah, it's so weird. I could revisit every 5 years. That ending was what the f. Yes, yeah. The beginning was what the f. The beginning was like I was watching it and I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'm in for one of these types of movies, and then it just kind of turns, it takes a left. Wow, wow. What's up, Jeff? Good morning, my friend. Good morning, brother. Good morning, Frank. What's up? About to walk the dog and listen to the stream. Nice, brother. Nice, nice. Matthew says that has very little to do with Eaters of the Dead. It's a source from Michael Crichton, which was his take on the Beowulf legend. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I get that. I just always like, I think of that movie. I automatically think of Braveheart. Yeah, Beowulf too. I was like, that's a great story, and I have the book, and so I was like, I don't know if I tell you, but I was like, I homeschool my kid, and that is, and I was like, she's not at that level yet, but I had pre-bought all the classics like Lord of the Rings, like it's just some of those things, like the Faust stories. I got that, but then that was just a number one. I had to have it. Had to have it. So Beowulf is in that eventual, reading curriculum for the homeschool stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Robert, I'm going to bed. Love you guys. All right, brother. All right. Take it easy. Oh, I can't. Can't Buy Me Love on 4K. You and me both. You and me both. I love that movie. It comes up probably twice a year in conversation in videos and just randomly talking about it, how it's a crime that it's still only on DVD and it's not put out yet. And there's a ton of movies, but that would be a day one purchase. I absolutely love that one. I just bought T3. It'll be coming into 4K soon. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. I was like, for the price point, I grabbed it used. I was like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. But I think like out of the Terminator films, like one, I love the first two solid films. Absolutely love those. The third one I think is fun. I think there's a fun level to it, but I never owned it until now. But then all the rest, I don't think I've tried. I have tried. I don't think I can get them. And some people love the franchise, to each their own. But I was like, I think for me, 100%, it's those first two. but I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna probably watch the Terminator 3 this at least Sunday, probably by Sunday for sure. Darren G, I'd love to get Near Dark on 4K. Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. Mask of Zorro in 4K is also one I don't have. It's been out for years. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I think it's a pretty good transfer. I've watched it a few times, and when I've done my like 4K reference discs, it's never made a reference disc list, but I think it's a solid 4K. I think it's decent. I just never thought it was a reference disc. JJ says, have you found it hard to find Mad Men final season part one on Blu-ray? I finally found a copy, but it's hard to get the complete set. Yeah, I still think I'm only at like up to season four, maybe five. Like, I definitely don't have close to all of them. Let's see. Mad. I have four seasons on Blu-ray, so that's all I've been able to find so far. And I just picked up the fourth season just a little while ago. So yeah, I was like, yeah, that one's been hard. I haven't been able to find anything more than that. Let's see. Great Jack Lemon movie is Mr. Roberts would make a great 4K too. I've never seen that one. I have never seen that one. I do have a lot of the Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau films. I was like Fortune Cookie, that old black and white one. I think that one's a underrated film. But then what was that one? Oh, the apartment. Yeah, the apartment is probably hands down, like, not my number one favorite Jack Lemmon, but like high up there. Like, it's a really good film. It's probably the apartment, and I would say Glenn Ross. Like, we're just talking just straight like performance acting and like just the actual movie itself. Those are probably my top two favorite Jack Lemmon films. But then I love all the ones with Walter Matthau too. I think those are great. Um, oh, that was The Hobbit. He was in an entire CGI created green screen set. McKellen, he had to face what the Star Wars prequel actors had to deal with, being shot separately as an element in the film. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew it was one of those. Yeah, it was definitely one of those. But yeah, it was the same kind of thing. I just can't imagine. Like, so just not having anything to play off of, and just making because like when Jack talks on the phone, I just notice it every time now. It's like when he talks on the phone, like he makes the facial expressions too. Like, so it's something that I started to notice, and especially now that we live in a time where everyone has cell phones, and less new movies have people actually talking on the phone that isn't a cell phone. And even a lot of times when they do FaceTime or they do speakerphone. But older films, any older film, if somebody's on the phone, like I am keen on that, like just checking it out. And like I have gauged quite a few actors like off their ability to sell me on the fact that they're really talking on the phone. And I think like he's the best. The just the facial expressions he adds into it. And then there's that scene in Fifth Element when Bruce Willis, like before he lays on the bed, he's talking about Lilu, he gets the fair, and he makes that like expression like he's in love. Like that sold me. It sells me on it. I was like, they don't do it anymore. People don't do it anymore. And I was like, I know that times have changed, but like that's a very simple thing to try to master, I think. Marty, morning, Marty. Are you going to watch the Super Bowl? No, I was like, I've never been a Super Bowl. I'm not a football person. My wife is, and she's on deployment, and even she doesn't watch the Super Bowl. She's like into college football. So I was like, if I was at my in-laws, and so my father-in-law, yeah, we would be watching the Super Bowl, and I would probably bring my portable DVD player. So is that. But I was like, and then growing up, like my mom was never into sports either, but she always controlled the TV, and she would flip on the Super Bowl to try to get the commercials. And so because she wanted to talk about them at work the next day. But we never really got into football. Not for me. If we get T3 on 4K, it has to have Christina Loken boobs included. Nice. Like like it would be great if they did the like like the old packaging, like the American Pie packaging. Actually, there's like a German version that's like a girl in a bikini, and the whole thing is like boobs. And so it's an interesting package. They don't do stuff like that anymore. Let's see. Video Pro says it's a great comedy with James Cagney and Henry Fonda. Okay, so I was like, let me go. Let's see. He says, I like Some Like It Hot and The Odd Couple. Those are great. Those are great. Those are up there too for me. Let's see. What was that one that you said? Let's see. Nice. Deadlifting Beast. I just got Rumpelstiltskin in 4K. It'll be here Friday. Yeah, I was like, I missed out on it. The big box set sold out. There is the standard version. I said, I'm already over budget this month. I'm just too much. But next month I was going to try to get it, but I was like, that's a movie that I wouldn't even mind owning on like VHS. So I was like, if I picked up a cheap VHS on eBay, I would probably enjoy that. I have the Leprechaun. I've got all the Leprechaun movies on Blu-ray, but I have the Leprechaun on VHS, and that's the way I usually end up watching it on a yearly basis. Like when I want to do the marathon and I want to watch all of them, I do go downstairs. I watch the Blu-ray, and that's fun. But I was like, I think nostalgia, pure nostalgia purposes, I think like just because I have this old CRT television, just pop it in an old VHS. I've watched Leprechaun probably the past 4 years up here on this TV on VHS. So I was like, I think I would pick that up. But I was like, I'm glad you got one. Let's see. John says it has a better option for sound output, not overall picture quality. Thanks for the answer. Everyone hypes Panasonic, so I had to know. Yeah. No, I was like comparing picture quality side by side for Panasonic and Sony. You would have to see it side by side to like have like a minute. I think it's like a hair better picture, but before I had the Panasonic, like my Sony's top notch. Like, so without having that side by side, I think you're fine. I think you're fine. And the fact that you have a Sony TV, it's fine. It's just note that if you want to watch something in Dolby Vision, you have to go into your settings every single time and you have to turn it off or turn it on because your player will try to force the other format and it can look wonky. And so I feel that there's been some times where reviewers have said a movie looked bad, or even people in comments saying a movie looks bad or disagrees, because if you put in a Dolby Vision movie and the Sony is set for the Bravia and the HDR, when you click the options on the thing and it shows you what's playing, it'll say HDR. It'll say, it'll show that on your TV, but you're like, or the vice versa. If you're forcing Dolby Vision and the disc doesn't have it, it looks a little wonky. Even when I pop in a DVD, if I leave the Dolby Vision setting on and I by accident and I pop in a DVD in that player, it all of a sudden it looks a little wonky, and then I'll hit info and it'll show Dolby Vision like being just, so the player's trying to force that. So that's the only thing, is just knowing that you got to turn that on and off every single time. I think it's fine. I don't think you need to upgrade at all. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Natali, yes, T3 is pretty good. Yeah, I was like, always thought it was fun. I just, like I said, never owned it until now. Glad to have it, but it was really my daughter. Let's see, the corner. I'm talking in the movie itself. The widescreen version is censored. Oh, okay. Although both trilogies shot in New Zealand on location, Lord of the Rings had more prep time and ready script. Battle of the Five Armies started production with no script. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that one. But I was like, I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings guy, even though I have that like massive box set up there. But I bought that for my wife. And then, turns out she doesn't like movie memorabilia like I do, because she's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. But I like Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings fine, so it's not that. I read the books. I think Lord of the Rings is great, but I always kind of like The Hobbit better. And when I watch the movies, I get excited to watch the Hobbit movies. I like them, but I was like, but I also think that they should have not been a trilogy. And there's definitely a lot of things wrong with them, but I was like, I like The Hobbit. I think it's the whole like finding treasure thing. I think that's for me. It's like, it's not quite a heist movie, but they're on a treasure hunt. And like, I don't know. I like it. Did Arthur, Warner Brother, did you pick up Panic Room on 4K? No, I have not. I'm kind of digging my heels in on that one. It would have been day one. I had the DVD. It was one of the ones I wanted to upgrade. It's one of the ones I got rid of this year because in anticipation of this 4K coming. But there's artwork and there's like Blu-ray information for a few other countries, but there's no pre-orders on those yet. Or I think I would just order that. I don't like the Steelbook only option. I don't like the Steelbook art. and I have a few steelbooks. We've talked about it before. I just picked up Dracula, but I was like, I don't. I don't think I need it. I don't want the steelbook only option all the time, and so I was like, I'm waiting. Maybe I'll get it eventually, but I'm hoping that a different version, even if it's in another country, I'll import it. I did it with Willow. So I was like, that's the only reason not. I love the film. I was really looking forward to it. I was just kind of disappointed about the steelbook only. And so I'm voting with my dollars. I think I'm the only one doing it. So it's one of those like I think it's a hill I'm gonna die on. We got that. So then yeah, we have let's share this real quick. We have Hamilton Book is having a sale right now. Well, it's not really a sale. They have cheap prices on all their stuff a lot of time. They got a lot of new stuff in. So I was like, if you're looking for a great deal on physical media at any point, definitely check out Hamilton Book. I am not sponsored by them or connected with them in any way, but I feel like that's how I sound because I'm always like, yeah, and the $4 shipping. So they got $4 shipping. Let's switch this out. So no matter what you buy, but they had some 4Ks. They got this Disney 4K for $5. They got the John Hughes collection for $8. So that's most popular. Let's go to the newest. All right, so let's see. So these are some of the newer things that they got in. Some Arrow Video stuff. We got .com for Murder for $12. 3 from Hell on 4K for $8. So they got some stuff, and they got a little bit of something for everybody. They do have a lot of newer stuff too. The Audrey Rose Arrow Video here for $12. That's not a bad buy. I have Audrey Rose. I think I have the imprint version, but that's just kind of a supernatural story, like not really like Exorcist, but it's got Anthony Hopkins in it. It's a decent film. I'm pretty sure it was a '70s film. It was it's one of those things. It's a slower paced movie, but it's definitely I think worth the $12. I would recommend checking out the trailer, see if it's for you first. But for me, I liked it. But there's a lot of stuff here. There's stuff that's not for me. Brighton Beach, for $6. This is a Shout Select movie. I haven't seen that in years. Wild Weekend for $15, the MVD. So there's a lot of stuff here. Carlito's Way, the Arrow Video, looks like the whole box set here for $20. Yeah, it was originally $60. So this is not a bad deal. $20, and then you get $4 shipping. So if you grab a whole bunch of things, you fill up a cart, you spend like 50 or $60, you get $4 shipping, and then to grab this, I think that's a steal. So yeah, definitely check out Hamilton Book if you don't shop there already. It's one that I was like, I try to put in a decent size order at least twice a year. But I'm usually checking. They send me an email every month, and I'm checking every month. Let's see. Feel the same. Yeah. Have a good one, bud. Got to head out. Oh, thanks for being here, brother. Thanks for being here. Let's see. The first 2 Hobbit films are underrated, and Martin Freeman was a good choice for Bilbo. Yeah, I honestly don't get Peter Jackson's digital noise reduction on both trilogies in the 4K. I was like, I don't know. The thing is, some people like the film grain, some people don't. And I was like, depending on your TV too, like, I made a video on this, and, some people, disagree, but I was like, if you have a TV, so not all TVs are made the same. And so I have a Sony, and I don't have filmmaker mode on my TV. But if you have a really older 4K TV, which I know a lot of people still do, maybe you don't have it at all. But a lot of the newer films or movie TVs, especially the LGs, have filmmaker mode. If you turn that on, it turns a lot of the bells and whistles and special extra features that people buy the TVs. That's what they're sold on. If you turn a lot of this stuff off, a lot of the things that can make some of them 4Ks look a little bit better. I mean, it's not going to make them look perfect, but it's going to change a few things to give you a better picture. And with something like that has heavy DNR, I have noticed that on my TV, on my Sony, I don't have filmmaker mode, but I have all of those settings completely off or extremely low. And so to get rid of things like soap opera effect or the digital noise reduction. So every time I talk about this, I get crucified, but I know that True Lies is not the best 4K ever. I know it's not a reference disc. I know it's not great and it has its problems, but I have all this stuff turned off. And even on my settings, I can see some faint film grain. But if I go to all the other settings or how the TV was set up out of the box where everything's turned on, and my TV has built-in digital noise reduction, all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff goes away. You get waxy faces. You get really, really smooth edges on everything. But with all my stuff turned off and low, I can see some faint film grain in that movie. So I was like, you might have that same experience. I never upgraded my Lord of the Rings because, like I said, we got that really like there that books right there. That's the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings box set in leather bound books. That box set was so expensive when the 4K got announced. My wife, who loves Lord of the Rings more than I do, said she didn't want the 4Ks. So it's the only reason we never got them. If they ever go on like a good sale, I'll probably pick them up, but I never needed them. But it could, if you check it out, like just changing your settings or maybe turning film. I don't know if your TV has filmmaker mode. It could, but I was like, I asked, I don't have the films to give like an actual opinion, just to what I think could happen. Frank says, I watch the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogies every December. That's a cool tradition. It's whenever my wife wants to watch them is when we watch them. See, my TV has an ability to leave all film grain intact. Nice. Or it can have use the DNR mode, which I don't like. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's what I do. I was like, I leave everything off. I leave everything off because I was like, if you turn it on and then it changes the film. Like not only can it change the color, like sometimes like it'll be too dark or too bright or like that specifically. Like it makes it too smooth, takes all the film grain away. I don't mind film grain, but at the same time, like a movie that has like super crazy heavy film grain, I don't like that either. And sometimes you can't help that, but in general, like the whole DNR smoothing of it, not a fan. Not a fan. So we got that going on. Let's see. March has some things coming out. So we got the Warner Archive announcements. I was like, I don't know if these are too exciting. I like Warner Archive. I think we knew about this before, though. Let's share the screen here. So Warner Archive. Yeah. So we got the Magilla Gorilla complete series. I love the artwork on here. This comes out March 25th, but that artwork's great. I kind of vaguely remember some of the reruns of this show when I was growing up. It's like I kind of vaguely remember it, but I don't have any nostalgia for this. I don't need it. It's from the 60s. So it's something that I didn't really grow up with. I just kind of, like I said, vaguely remembered it. But then this movie here is something I'm interested in. It's a 2-pack and it's Monogram Matinee Volume 1. But it seems like these old matinee films that might have been a double feature back in the day at the movie theater. So this is something that, I'm interested in. I don't know if I need it. I definitely want to check out the trailers, or if these movies are streaming somewhere, check those out. But I like the fact that Warner's putting this stuff out. That's from 1949. So I like a lot of cinema from that era as well. Now this one here is one that it's a bit of a cult classic, and I have this in another box set already. So this one's from 1972, Hitman. Got a great cast here, but again, it's 70s film. It has a slower pace to it. And so I was like, I know anytime I talk about 70s cinema and I recommend it to anybody, that is almost always the thing, is either they love it or the conversation of they don't like the pacing. So if you're a person that's not into 70s cinema pacing, I would not recommend this film, but it's one that I enjoyed. Definitely a cult classic. It definitely wouldn't say that it's blaxploitation. I mean, it kind of crosses into there, but I wouldn't say it's exactly blaxploitation. But yeah, I like that one. But I already have it, so I was like, I don't need it. And it had been put out before. That's not the first time that film has been put out. But it's from let's see. It's the Hitman, though. This is a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative on a Blu-ray. So that's going to look top notch. I think what I have, I don't even think what I have was like a restoration. I think it was just a scan. So then we have these other things. Earth 2. I don't think I'm into this. Warner Archive. I love the artwork on it there. Just 10 seconds to save the dream from becoming a nuclear nightmare. I'd have to check out the trailer. I was like, I don't know what that is. But it's 1970s sci-fi. I could check it out if that's what it is. And then we have this one here, The Four Horsemen. I don't know if I'm into this either. Let's see. Am I sharing these screens while I'm talking? Okay, I'm just making sure I'm still sharing screens. Four Horsemen. again, I like these older artwork, but it's something. This is something I would have to again check out the trailer. Maybe I'm into it, maybe I'm not. But I was not familiar with this. It's from 1921, and I have some films from the 20s. I don't know if I have anything that old, but I have some stuff from the 20s. So I'm not, it would be worth a check out. But a 4K restoration of the original camera negative, I think that's going to give you the best of both worlds. There's definitely people that are all in on 4Ks and 4K movies and give you the best possible picture. But on a lot of the older films, just a simple 4K restoration on a Blu-ray, I think is amazing. And then the difference between that 4K restoration on the Blu-ray to an actual having a 4K, it's a slight up jump. Like it's so minute. I don't even think it's like worth it. Even this one here, what I just watched. What the heck is it? I don't know. Where is? I don't know what I did with it already. Humanoids from the Deep. It has the Blu-ray in there from the 4K restoration. Just checking the two. It is such a minor, barely even noticeable quality difference between the two. I just think that I think you're getting the best of both worlds there. See. JJ says, I'm sure it wasn't bad for someone watching it for the first time. I just enjoy the way it looked when I originally saw it. Yes. I was like, I'm not sure what we're talking about, but okay. I know that sentiment. So I was like, I'm not blowing it off. I just wasn't sure exactly what film you're talking about. Let's see. Jeff says, Just Friends comes out on the 25th as well. Nice. As Warner's releasing everything on the same day. Looks like it. So I was like, yeah, I was like, I guess they are. I hope that one comes out because I don't think that pre-order's still up yet. Let's see, it does really depend on the film stock used in the negative when dealing with the Super 35 16 millimeter Techniscope. Has more grain than the standard 35 millimeter CinemaScope. Yeah, it really does depend on the film. Matthew says, I'm still waiting for Mark of Zorro from Doug Fairbanks in Blu-ray. Only a restored uh, MOD disc or MOD DVD exists. Wow. Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. I haven't seen that one either, but anytime that they've done those MOD discs or those older DVDs, and then you haven't seen anything for quite a long time, it just kind of makes you wonder what happened. Like Dead Presidents. Dead Presidents had a DVD in 1998. I think the movie came out in 96 or around that time, but we had the DVD in 98 and we have not had anything since. And so it's like, it just feels like they kind of forgot about that one. Oh, it's Gary. Gary was here. Morning, brother. Gary, I made it. I just finished Jackie Brown. Nice, nice. Did you enjoy it? I think it's a great 4K. It's one of my favorite movies, so I'm a little biased, but nothing stood out to me as anything wrong or weird or I didn't feel that there was anything. Now I didn't go back and like do the side by side comparisons or anything crazy. I just popped in my 4K and enjoyed it, and I had a good time. So I was like, I hope you did too. I know you've been waiting for that one for quite a while. All right, let's see, we got that. So there's those ones there, but then we have this pre-order is up finally. Let's see, so this is one we've talked about before, but this is one that I'm getting it. I like this one. Oop, I don't know where I went. I went to share the screen. I disappeared. All right, let's see. So Tommy Boy, we've talked about this before. So Time Boy's getting the 4K, and this is the same artwork we got on the previous release of the Blu-ray here. And so that was the Steelbook. That's what's available. So the pre-order's there, but then there's also the standard version of this film, and that's the one I'm going to get. I'm not going to get the Steelbook. Tommy Boy is one of my favorites, and at the same time, Black Sheep is also getting a 4K. But I just rewatched my Black Sheep. I like the film, but I think the Blu-ray looks amazing. So I was like, I think that the Tommy Boy 4K, I think there's some room for improvement, and I think that one's the better of the two. It's definitely one of my favorite, easily one of my top 25 favorite comedies of all time. So I was like, that's going to be a day one purchase, but I'm not going to get the Steelbook. I'm going to get the standard version. See, and I didn't get this like upgrade because this was part of their one of their last releases. It was another anniversary, I think. I didn't get that version. I just got the very first Blu-ray that was released. That's true. Got that one. So that one's up finally. There's some other stuff. So the imprint stuff, I'm always excited about the imprint stuff. But this one here, I was like, sometimes imprint is not for everybody, and I get it. But I was like, I love them. I love everything they do, and not everything am I always like super excited about. But I'm always interested in what they're doing. But I think this time around, I think I'm looking forward to everything. And you have, let's see, the April releases. You have a lot of stuff. I think 14 titles in all. We have a couple of these box sets. So these Tales of Adventure. So this very first one here, it's from 1954 to 1957, and it looks like sci-fi stuff. I'm super excited about this. Am I sharing the screen? Yeah. Okay, we're sharing the screen. So this is something that, like, 100% without a doubt, you're getting 5 films here from the 50s. Oh, I'm all in. I love the box set. I love the artwork, but you're getting 5 films there. Stuff I don't think I've seen any of this stuff. So that's just guilty pleasures for me. Those are great Saturday afternoon films. That's high on my radar. But then they have this here. So this one is Flesh and Fantasy, Dead of the Night, 2 films from 1943 through 1945. And they just look like kind of like mystery, creepy, kind of type movies. I have to read my email on it, what these actually are, but I'm looking forward to this as well. And let's see, there's a couple of titles in here that I was like, maybe I'll check this one out, but Bride of Vengeance, pardon me, Bride of Vengeance, I like the artwork on it. I don't know if I need it, but it's something that I'm definitely interested in. I'll take a look at that. But that's something that, anytime they put this stuff out, a lot of these movies have never been put out on Blu-ray. And so I don't remember exactly how many, but there was a good number of them in this go around that have never been. This will be the first time on Blu-ray. This one here from 1947, you have Ivy. Another one. I'm digging the artwork here. I don't know what this one's about, but from the 40s, yeah, that's another one. I'm intrigued. But this is the one that I think, like, if I were just to get any of them, it would be the 2 adventure sets. So this other adventure set from 1945 to 1969. It seems like a war type adventure. So you got 4 films here, and as I read the premise on all of them, I don't remember everyone, but I was really intrigued. So out of the entire release for this month, for March, these 2 adventure sets high on my radar. So this is volume 6. I didn't get any of the other ones previously, but I kind of wish I did now. So those ones are just high on my radar. Let's see. Got that one, and then this one is another one I'm excited about. This is something that it's come up a couple times here in conversation, like people have asked. I love this film. I think it's top notch. It's one that I have to have. And I thought I had the Blu-ray. I don't. I have looked and looked and looked, and so I was like, I don't know if somehow it accidentally got put in the wrong pile, and I, traded it into Goodwill or something. I don't know what happened. I swore I had it, but I have it on VHS and I have it on HD DVD. So I'll be picking this 4K up because I love this. I love this movie since I was a kid, and we're talking about Sneakers. And I'll be getting the 4K, but it's coming out on Blu-ray, a separate Blu-ray and a separate 4K, both from a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. So I was like, I know there's tons of people that are just not all in on Blu-ray. If you buy the 4K, it includes the Blu-ray, but you can also just get this Blu-ray here, has that same restoration, and I think you're just getting the best of both worlds when you do that. But overall, great cast. Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, Ben Kingsley. You can't go wrong there. Or you got the early River Phoenix. So I mean, all of River Phoenix was early. Sidney Poitier, and yeah, this is a great film. If you have never seen this one, high recommend. And that one comes out in April. So that one's another day one purchase for me. Let's see. Gary says, I love the movie. Color's more intense, but maybe not worth the $28. I was like, man, I kind of see where you're coming from there. But I was like, for me, I was like, it was Jackie Brown. It's one of my favorites. I didn't care. I mean, I did, but I didn't at the same time. Matthew says, I rented that one for my sister and her friends. The film was restricted, Dead Presidents on VHS of all things. Yeah. Yeah, that's just, I love that movie. Love that movie. One of that set with the king of the Rocket Men couldn't justify the $140 price. Yeah, it's like this stuff's expensive. Stuff's expensive. Um, Walmart has a Tommy Boy 4K exclusive steelbook. Oh, I'll check that out. I didn't know they were doing that one. Check that one out. Gary says Hammer Horror 8-pack coming today. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I made a post about that too, Gary. Thanks. Yeah, there was. I don't know if they're still doing the sale, but I put a post. Amazon was having that eight horror Hammer Horror films in a Blu-ray pack there for like $13. I don't think you can go wrong there. I had a couple of them already, and I do have a Hammer Horror box set coming from Indicator. So I was like, I don't remember which one was in there. Matthew says, still waiting for Republic series, Flash Gordon on 1080p from Film Scan, not an upscale. Yeah, I just saw, and I was like, I didn't pick it up because I would probably want the better version too. Is like that they had 2 of those DVDs down at the used bookstore. So I was like, yeah, I'll wait. But you're right. I was like a fresh scan would be great. No upscales. I mean, the Universal serial. I know what you meant. I saw they had. Pretty sure it was just 2. They had them down at the used bookstore on DVD. I have never seen Sneakers. I'm telling, honest to God. So that's a movie. I love it. Actually, I don't have it close by, but uh, it's a movie. It's about espionage, and it actually like it's about government spying and being able to like crack all the codes and look at people's internet and email. And so this movie came out in like the late '80s, early '90s. It was in that time period when pretty much nobody had computers, and if you did, like it was probably a work computer. And so like internet and hacking and all that kind of conversation was like very new, but then like it really ties into what's going on today where everyone says that if you talk about dog food enough, all of a sudden you'll get dog food advertisements on your phone when you're scrolling through. So it's like it's one of those things. You're just like they were having this conversation way back when. It's a great film. Check out the trailer, but it's a high recommend for me. Matthew says, does it matter to you when they put an old Blu-ray master with a 4K rather than the new master in 1080p? No, it doesn't matter. I can see where it would bother some people, but if I'm getting a 4K and the 4K is solid, then I'm fine. But like with Humanoids of the Deep, like tons of people have asked me if it was worth getting the 4K, and I can't honestly tell you because I don't have that previous Blu-ray. That was the first time I ever watched it, and so I was glad to have it, but it only came with the new master on the Blu-ray. So I could only give you my speculation thought and just, hey, this looks really good. But if it had that old Blu-ray in there, it would be beneficial for me to be able to tell people. But in general, like if I wasn't here on YouTube and I wasn't doing all that stuff, it would probably bother me a little bit. I would probably want the new 4K master on both because like depending on how I might want to watch the film, I'd like the new best version. Like specifically, there is what is that movie? Into the Blue with Jessica Alba and Paul Walker. Like I love that film. I have that original old Blu-ray. They just recently, in the past like couple years or so, did a new restoration scan of it, and everyone has reported that there's a good jump in quality from the old Blu-ray that I have to this new one. But then if I get that, is a 4K coming out soon. So it's like if people are already reporting like how good of a quality that new version is, like I could see where it would definitely frustrate me if I wasn't here doing the show. But in general, I don't mind. And in general, if the 4K is really, really solid, I don't really ever go back to that old Blu-ray anyway. The only time in recent memory that I did and that I actually preferred was the Snatch 4K. The Snatch 4K, it just looked a little too dark no matter what I did, even in the bright scenes. And I've talked about that before too. And then I pop in the Blu-ray, and it was the old Blu-ray from the old restoration, the old 1080p, and the colors on it, everything about it was just better. The 4K looked sharp and clear and was like an amazing 4K. It's just I thought the colors were off. I thought it looked too dark, and that's like the only film in my whole entire 4K collection where it's like kind of bothersome. Like it just kind of like and so it's like I have the movie on VHS. I had it on DVD, and I had the Blu-ray, but I got rid of it, and then it came with the old Blu-ray, so it worked out. Let's see. Video Pro, great Saturday afternoon movie, and have been waiting for it to get 4K. Is Fade to Black. Fade to Black. Let's see. What was that? I don't think I've seen that one. Fade to Black. Doesn't even sound familiar. Fade to Black. 1980. Okay. A shy, lonely film buff embarks on a killing spree. Oh, nice, nice. I've seen this. I've seen this poster, so I've not seen this film. So yeah, this one here. That's the DVD there. Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this before, but this is the DVD. The DVD would not sell me on that movie at all. But yeah, that's something I'll check out. The film buff turns a serial killer. It's a little wild there. I'll check it out. Hackers in Net are super dated. Oh yeah, I wrote the Net. I only had that on VHS, so I just put that in my wish list. So I'm gonna probably pick up the Net next month. It's high on my radar. It's a movie that I love it. I wanted to revisit it. I picked up the VHS off the shelf. I was about to pop it in, and I said, "Nah." I said, "It's time to upgrade. Time to upgrade." And then I was like, now that I'm gonna eventually get it. It's probably gonna get a 4K like the next week. Hackers. Oh yeah, I was like, I like Hackers too. I was like, I haven't seen that one though since the 90s, and I never picked up the 4K. I Robot was super precedent, and the tailored AI adds spooky. Oh yeah. That one, and then Minority Report had those tailored AI ads too in the film. Like, remember, like when they were looking for Tom Cruise's character and they were scanning his eyes, and then he would get the ads. It's like, it's all that stuff is just like, man, that's what they keep talking that they want to do. I was like, I'm not into it. Not into it. Let's see. Love Fade to Black. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna check it out now. I'm definitely gonna check it out. iRobot, great in 3D. Yeah, I love iRobot. I think that's a good one. Yeah, there's that. And then so yeah, we got a few more things. Let's see, we got some. Let's see. Oh, here's what I wanted. Here's what I really want to talk about. So I mean, there's some other announcements, but we can hit them up next week. I know I've been going close to 2 hours now, but before we end this, I do want to talk about this stuff. So because it's not just about the physical media release. I mean, that's like the main thing, but it is about movies, and we don't talk about movies in cinema, in theaters, like as often as we do talk about actually the movies. But this is something that, coming on the heels of Scream 7 announcement, Goonies 2 announcement, Gremlins 3 announcement, and all these reboots and remakes and all this. And I have not, and I voiced my opinion, I have not been the biggest fan of all these like really long sequels and the reboots, and I've just not been a huge fan of it. And I was like, I want something new and interesting. When I watched this trailer, and I'm torn, and I've talked to a few friends about this already, but I'm torn about this because I like the idea. So I watched the new Jurassic Park Rebirth trailer, and I was like, the announcements are, for the pre-order, like the page is already up. Like, there's nothing for pre-order, but it's saying, like, I think summertime is what it said. Let's pull this up. And at the same time, also, like, I love the original movie so much. I was like, I've not been the biggest fan of all the rest. The first one I rewatch at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. The other ones are all right. 3, I even like 3 kind of, but I love those books. So when I was a boy, I read these books. I was super into them. And basically everything that they didn't put in the first book into the first movie, and then everything from the second book that they didn't put into that movie, they kind of combined a bunch of ideas, and then they just kind of threw them into the third movie. And so they made an attempt. So I like those. I've watched the newer ones. I don't revisit them as often. I know my kids and my wife do, but I'm not the biggest fan. I watched this and I don't really understand. From what it looks like a soft reboot kind of thing. I think that's what they're tossing around with this one. When I watched the trailer, like it's the top of conversation that's been had a couple times. There was a really great video I just watched on it just yesterday. How films don't look like films anymore, and like some of the biggest reasons are the equipment they're using, laziness, things aren't being lighted the way they used to be. There's not the same kind of talent that's working on the films that used to work on the films, and so there's a lot of speculation, a lot of reason, and a lot of opinion why the films don't look the way they used to. And we're not even talking about the writing and the modern audience conversation. We're just talking about just the look of it. And then when I watched this trailer, all that brought back to me, like it brought me back to when I was a kid and I watched the trailer for the first Jurassic Park and how I had that like kind of shock and awe. I was sucked in a little bit. And so it just, but I knew it wasn't this film specifically. Like, I didn't have that connection with it, but it was the fact that this film trailer kind of feels like a movie again, and it doesn't feel like this like cash grab spectacle, over the top craziness. The way they shot the trailer, and maybe the movie is not great, I don't know, but the trailer made me want to see it. But at the same time, I haven't liked it. It's also like it seems like maybe they're scrapping the last bunch of movies. I don't know what they're doing, or they're taking a different area. And then it seems like they're retconning some stuff. And then maybe even that whole first movie is really scrapped with just like kind of a nod to that. I don't know what they're doing, but when they say soft reboot, it just kind of gives them a blanket to kind of scrap whatever they want. And if you love those last Chris Pratt films, then this is the new one. You're kind of out on it. So I was like, I never like when they do this stuff. So I'm definitely torn between this movie. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, as far as the trailer goes, it's the only reboot or sequel or anything that's happened recently that would probably get me into the theater. So there's that one. Matthew says on Indiana Jones, the 4K new master is exclusive to the Blu-ray, or exclusives. The Blu-ray is the old master, but the Star Trek, except Star Trek 5 or 6, is the Blu-rays. The Blu-rays have the new remaster. Same with the pack in the Star Wars 4K combo. Yeah, that all that would frustrate me. But like I said, I tend to, when I have movies like that, I tend to just watch them downstairs on the 4K. And there's that. If I'm really just stuck and I gotta watch a Blu-ray, I don't usually watch them up here, but I can. I'm only usually trying to watch VHS and DVD up here. So anything downstairs, I'm trying to watch the 4K anyway, unless the 4K just kind of sucks. But yeah, I could see where it would frustrate people. Ransom in 4K with Mel Gibson would be great. I think so too. Let's see. I agree on Jurassic Park, Ghostbusters, and Star Wars. They died a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, I was like, I agree. I revisit all that old stuff all the time because it's fun. The new stuff just doesn't seem fun. And I was like, at the level like Jurassic Park, they're getting eaten by dinosaurs. The movie is still fun. At the end of the day, I have such a good time watching that film. I've had a good time watching it with my kids. Like that experience has been so great. The other ones just feel like forced popcorn flicks. Like you go to see it and it's just so much is going on, so much action. I always leave kind of disappointed when I watch those newer ones. And so yeah, same thing. Quietly Games, good morning. Good morning. Afternoon 80s. Oh, yeah, it's afternoon now, probably. Enemy of the State needs a 4K too. Way overdue. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And I was like, I finally upgraded that one. I think I did. Like that's one of the ones I think I picked up last year. Finally got the Blu-ray, I think. Maybe it doesn't have Blu-ray. Maybe that only has the DVD. I don't remember now. I did just pick up Enemy of the State after years of talking about it. And then oh yeah, it does. It has that old Blu-ray, but it's one that it didn't have the 4K, and it could use a 4K. Yeah, I had the DVD for the longest time, and that was an upgrade last year. Finally, yeah, I agree. I love that movie. Yep. So right, Enemy of the State and Minority Report. Yeah, Minority Report would be a day one purchase. Blade Runner 2049 is the best reboot of all time. Yeah, I have that one. I was like, I still don't revisit it as often as the first one, but yeah, I was like, I would agree. I would agree. Are you picking up Sweet Alice? So I have that on Blu-ray. So I was going to pick it up. I know Jordan over at the Movie Den, he picked it up. He did a review on it. I know a few other people did. They said it's amazing. They said it's amazing 4K. Go ahead and pick it up. I just haven't. I have the Blu-ray. I think the Blu-ray looks top notch. I love the film. I think the film is amazing. So, and I was like, the two people that I have talked to about the 4K, I trust both of their opinions. You know, I know how they have their TV set up and like some of the other things we see eye to eye on. So I was like, I trust their opinions. And so they said the 4K looked amazing. I just haven't picked it up. I'm not saying I won't, but I was like, I don't know if I need to upgrade it. I think the Blu-ray looks really good. And I have the Arrow Video Blu-ray of that as well. But I think the film is great. I think it's great. Just, all the stuff I am trying to upgrade, like some of the double dips, I don't need. Um, they used to shoot on tungsten stock and use really warm lighting. Oh yeah, in the 1980s, everything was stylized. The grain of the films was distinct. Now they teal everything. They do not light or low light. Oh yeah, no, 100%. That was the thing. Like you look at it, a lot of the films that should look amazing. For the longest time, I was honestly thinking it was because it was shot on digital and maybe just the digital cameras. Not only do they not go in and color grade it afterwards, but like when I do these videos here on this camera, like this camera looks a lot better than this camera, but I had to go in and set this one up. This is a digital camera. I had to set it up like right out of the box. I looked crap, like it was all boring and plain and washed out. I had to like go, and I'm not an expert on any of that stuff. I just kind of tooled around with it, and I was like, it kind of looks good, but like it's the same thing. So for the longest time, I thought it was the new cameras, and that's what we were stuck with. But I did a little research, and it's because, like you said, they don't light things on purpose. They don't do anything. They just kind of keep it all plain, and it's that idea of like we'll fix it in post, and then they never do. And so there's a lot of like new films shot digitally that I think just look horrible because they didn't color it, or they didn't. There was, like you said, like there's nothing with intention. And back then, like every minute detail had intention, and you can just see that on some of those older films, the way they were made. See, I suppose I either have to too big a room or too small a room, a collection. I have to have it all fit in one space. I was like, I don't know. I've got my stuff all over the place. I've got, I mean, everybody's got different size rooms and stuff. But I was like, also, if you look at the back of my shelves, like I have a lot of stuff like displayed out. Like if I put everything up, like line them up by spine, and I didn't have anything kind of front facing and have that display look, I could definitely fit a lot more up here. But in this room is, and I have this whole shelf of VHS here, but like in this room, it's mostly the boutique labels and things that are special to me. They stay up here. This is the movie room, but I have the two TVs up here. But then downstairs, that's where all the 4K movies are. That's where all the Blu-rays are. And so like this app here tells me just without, so it says I have 1,574 Blu-rays. I just got rid of 500 DVDs. I was like, no, I have like about 60. So like over 400 DVDs I just got rid of. But I have 1,574 Blu-rays, and it says I have 374 4K movies. And so those are all downstairs in the closet, minus the boutique stuff that's up here. And so I have that closet, and it's a walk-in closet with shelves. And so I was like, I would love to have everything up here, but then and then you start running out of room either way. And so I have plenty of room downstairs in the closet, and I have plenty of room up here to kind of maneuver stuff. But I've got a decent sized collection. Before I got rid of the DVDs, I was at like just under 3,000 movies, and like I said, I just got rid of about 400 plus DVDs. Let's see. Everything except by good directors and cinematography looks flat when shot digitally and phony if the entire post production is CGI. Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's why I was like, that's a big reason why I was also out on all this new stuff. I already pre-ordered Cruising and Long Kiss Goodnight 4K through Orbit DVD. Oh yeah, those are definitely pre-ordered. Now that was the one. Now Cruising is one that I didn't know. Like I was on the fence. Like I was like, do I need this 4K? And so that's the one I didn't pre-order. But a Long Kiss Goodnight is pre-ordered. So I was like, I'm debating. Like, do I just get the Blu-ray because it's cheaper? It's a movie I haven't seen, so it's a huge blind buy. But I was like, everyone that has that Blu-ray said it looked pretty good. So I was like, I don't know if I need it. And for to blind buy a movie at $50, I'm like, I don't know, I don't know. So I was like, that's one I'm just still waiting on. I might pick it up on sale or I'll wait on that one. But Long Kiss Goodnight, 100% pre-ordered. Roger Deakins can shoot digital well. So can Steve. I can't Yedlin, but a lot of people can't. Dune 2 looks amazing through Greg Fraser's is good. Yeah, I was like it is. It's it boils down to talent, and there's not a lot of it anymore. And it was a shame too. Like you go back to like the special effects, like the monster effects and like all that stuff. There was a recent movie, some kids movie. It was the Chippendale Kids movie. My kids wanted to see it, but then the trailer came out and it wasn't because they grew up watching the old cartoon that I watched when I was a kid, and they had to bring back animators, 2D animators to do that part of the movie. They had to bring them out of retirement, and then at the same time, like they hadn't drawn in so long, like you kind of lose that. And I was like, I've talked to several comic book artists, and they talk about like if they don't draw every single day, they lose it quick. So I was like, yeah, it's like I would think it's the same kind of thing. Like anybody that was in that field, I don't think it's like riding a bike. I think at some point, like, yes, you can have some raw talent, you can have some knowledge, and you can easily apply it. But if you're not actively doing it all the time, yeah, it's going to screw you over. And I was informed for the longest time the Ridley Scott movie, The Legend, one of my all time favorites, like easily my top 5 favorite fantasy films of all time. But that whole outside meadow scene was a studio set for my whole life until I was told that last year or maybe 2 years ago that it was a set and it was all lighting and who lit it. Blew my mind. I thought that was an outside set for like decades. Let's see. So far, Arrow's off to a great start of 2025 with these titles. Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it was sad. Finally closed forever. Yeah. Second of them, not the Presidio or Van Nuys. Nope. No, it's like it's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate when all that stuff goes away. We have let's see, what's this? Oh, somebody else talking about shop died too. Who else died? See, my old shop died too after Grant McCoon bought it and he died. Yeah, sucks. What do we got? We got that. So yeah, that's how I feel about this Jurassic Park one. I'm on the fence, but it's one of the ones that might get me to the theater, but I'm not super looking forward to it. Now this one here is the one that I was like, I just don't know about it. Now I'll probably see it eventually. This is one I'll probably just pick it up on 4K when it comes out. But it's part of a franchise, and so this is a sequel that I'm not shocked that it came out. But as it's being announced, everyone's super excited about this one. I don't know that I am. And all we got was this little teaser trailer. And in the teaser trailer, I thought it was enjoyable, but I am not seeing the connection to the older films. I'm not seeing that, and from the little bit of a teaser trailer, like you obviously can't get much out of it. But for it being shot digitally, it looking so clean, just the YouTube trailer of this is something that I think the last movie that he did was still shot digitally, but it has kind of a film feel. Like it somehow the way they shot it or lit it or whatever, it didn't look flat and boring to me. And I don't think this looks flat and boring, but it's like a night and day difference between the two styles. And so this Final Destination, Bloodlines, I'm not going to play the trailer here. I was like, 'cause every time I do, they take it down. I don't know if I can play like part of it and then like I don't know. You guys can see the trailer if you want. But this movie here, as I was watching the trailer, it's something about it. Like, I like the franchise. I have the 5-film pack, like the Blu-ray pack there. I revisit them. I revisit the first one all the time. I just picked up the other 5, but I had like 1 or 2 of them on DVD, so I didn't even have all of them in the collection until just a few months ago. But that first one I revisit on a yearly basis. But this is something that, as I watch the trailer, somehow or other, it's a newer sequel from an older franchise, and it has all the the markings of being shot digitally on a new camera with I don't know, for some reason I just don't feel that it's connected to the same world. So that's how I feel on that one. But then what was it? What was this one here? Quietly Games. It feels awkward to me. Oh, for this one, Final Destination. Yeah, I think so. I think that's. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I don't know. I will watch it. Like I said, I don't need to rush out to see it, but it's something that I like the franchise. I like those movies, but again, it's one of the ones where it's the first one that I love. I think the second one's pretty fun too. So there's that one. And then, yeah, I didn't have any rumors today. So that's it. That's pretty much it. Unless you guys have any other questions, we could wrap this up. Been going for a little while, a little over 2 hours, a little 2 hours. But yeah, if you guys have anything else, I think I'm going to wrap it up. We did get a lot of new stuff in the store. I said I got the new mugs, but we do have, like I said, I've said it before. We do have the memberships over there, but we have a free version, so you don't have to pay anything, and it doesn't give you access to everything, but it does allow like a almost like an email kind of thing or DM thing. Like we can talk better, because it was like I email some people email me, then some people talk to me on Twitter, and then some people talk to me on Instagram. And I'm not huge on the social media other than YouTube. Like I'm 100% all in on YouTube. Those other social medias, like I don't have the notifications turned on. I might miss your message. But the other one I check all the time, because like we sell the shirts over there, and if I sell something, like I want to make sure that I send out messages and I keep on top of it. And so that one I'm on every single day. But yeah, there's stuff over there. We've talked about it before. I was like, no obligation. But if you do want to do the membership, like I've done posts, I do videos, and I don't get the feedback. So if anybody has watches anything over there, I can get comments like I can on YouTube. But on YouTube, it says 1 view, 2 views, 100 views. Like it shows that people watch it. Over there, it doesn't show if anybody watches it at all. So I was like, I'm not sure how that works, but that is always an option. Oh, and I did get another subscriber mail. Now I'm not opening this one yet, and I don't know if the thing is if there's a note in there, if whoever sent this wants me to talk about that. So I will be opening that up, but I'm holding off on it. I've already talked to the person, so we got that going on. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up. And I'll catch you guys, next week. And I got a couple videos planned tomorrow. I got 2 videos that I'm knocking out tomorrow. Something I've been working on for a long time. That video will be out Monday. But then I have the member only video. And it was like I've got something planned about the member only stuff, and so that'll be out tomorrow for sure. But the big video for everybody will be out on Monday. And guys, everybody have a great weekend. Remember to watch a movie today. Catch you guys next time. Unless we got something else. What we got? Let's see. What it says. Matthew says, I was a viewer of those films, but not the biggest fan. I did watch X-Files, Space Above and Beyond, Glenn Morgan, and James Wong. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I was like, I gotta watch it. I haven't seen X-Files in so long. But yeah, thanks. All right. Yeah, guys. All right, remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Oh, don't give me a pat. That's fine.
have to go now. Goodbye.